In this video, we'll go through some common settings for UniPrint Infinity in a thin client or a combination thin and thick client environment. First, we'll apply a license key to the license server, which was installed on the UniPrint bridge. Next, we'll manually add a couple of gateway printers in a user session. This is necessary if PrintPal is not deployed. A separate video on PrintPal will also be available for viewing. Then we'll change gateway printer properties globally for all users. Next, we'll enable features such as email and archiving in user sessions. Then we'll set which group policy objects will be applied and in which order they will be applied. And finally, we'll look at enabling and scheduling font replication. License keys are sent as an email attachment after the UniPrint serial number is registered on our website. Change the file extension of the attached file from .text to .reg, and then save it to an accessible location. I've saved mine here on the desktop. License keys are applied from the UniPrint Management Console, so click Start. And then click UniPrint Management Console. Click Add License. Click to browse for the license file. Click to select the license file. And then click Open. Click Finish. The red block will disappear and show the number of sessions available. Let's go to the application server. Click Refresh to check the license. The license appears fine on the other servers. Now let's go to a workstation to manually add a gateway printer to a user session. Double-click Remote Desktop Connection. Enter the IP address of the application server and then click Connect. If PrintPal has not been deployed, then gateway printers will need to be added through the control panel. Click Start. Click Control Panel. And then double-click Printers. Click Add a Printer. Gateway printers are typically indicated with hash numbers. Click to select HP LaserJet M4345 MFP. And then click Next. We don't want this printer to be the default, so disable Set as the Default Printer. Click Next. And then click Finish. Let's add another printer. Click Add a Printer. We want to add the UniPrint VPQ. Click to select the UniPrint VPQ, and then click Next. Let's make the UniPrint VPQ our default printer. Select Set as the Default Printer, and then click Next. Click Finish. Now that a gateway printer and the VPQ have been added, let's go to the bridge to set global printer properties for the gateway printer. Under Properties and Settings, click Printers. Click to select the printer we just added in the user session, HP LaserJet M4345 MFP, and then click Properties. Let's change some printer properties. Click the Configuration tab. From the paper size list, select Legal. Click the Fonts and Images tab. From the color options list, select Grayscale. Click Save to save our changes globally for all users. Now let's go to the application server to set which features will be available to users during their sessions. Under Network Connections, click Sessions. Under Protocols is a list of virtual channels that UniPrint uses to transfer print jobs. The order in which they are listed is the order UniPrint uses to automatically detect them. To change the order, click to select the protocol and then click either the up or down arrow above. We have some Macintosh users, so select Mac Client. If you have users that connect to a second application server by launching another session from within their original session, then select the appropriate protocol. UniPrint will then treat this application server as a pass-through client, and print jobs will be sent seamlessly through multiple sessions back to the originating workstation. We have some users who do this, so select RDP. Select ICA 10+ for those who utilize the Citrix receiver. And also select ICA 9 and earlier for those who utilize older Citrix ICA clients. The settings under Logon Options are for actions that are performed when a session is started. Since we set the UniPrint VPQ as our default printer, disable Set UniPrint as Default Printer. We also want all print jobs to be deleted from a disconnected session when the user starts a new session. Select Delete Leftover Print Jobs. And we want the PrintPal client to launch when a session is initiated. Select Run PrintPal on this server. To allow users to email a copy of their print job as an attachment, select Enable Email. Enter the address of the mail server that will be used. This server must have SMTP running on it. Enter the email address from which messages will be sent. All emails sent through UniPrint will appear to be from this address. If your mail server requires authentication, select Mail Server Requires Authentication. Then enter the username and password. Since this is only a demonstration, clear Mail Server Requires Authentication. To test your connection to the mail server, click Test. Enter an email address to which to send a test message, and then click Send. Since this is only a demonstration, click Cancel. Archiving is enabled by default, and this is where you can also change the default save location. Click Save to Other Location, and then click Browse. Browse to the new default save location. Since this is only a demonstration, click Cancel. And let's keep the user's Documents folder as the default location. The user can always change the location at the time of printing. PDF security is only valid if we were to print to the UniPrint printer. And since we're printing to either the UniPrint VPQ or a gateway printer, we'll leave it disabled. To save the changes we've made, click Save. Now let's look at setting how group policy objects are applied to UniPrint Infinity. Under Properties and Settings, click Policies. We would like user settings to remain persistent between sessions. Select User Settings. Now we would like user settings to be applied first. So click to select User Settings. And then click the up arrow to move it up the list. Let's move it back down the list. Click the down arrow. Now let's save our configuration settings. Click Save. Let's go to the print server to take a closer look at font replication. The font replication plugin can be found in Components. Under Properties and Settings, click Components. Click to select the font replication plugin, and then click Properties. Click the Schedule tab. To enable font replication, click Enabled. Select a time for this print server to replicate new fonts from the application server. We recommend selecting a time outside of business hours. We'll leave it as the default at 2 a.m. daily. To replicate fonts on demand, click Run Now, and then click OK. We've covered some of the common configuration settings for UniPrint Infinity in a thin client only or combined thin and thick client environment. Now let's go to the UniPrint bridge to get a preview of our next video. Under Tools and Utilities, click PrintPal. As you can see, the PrintPal map is currently empty. PrintPal is a wonderful utility that can help administrators save time, since it maps printers to devices, users, or organizational units without having to create and compile scripts. Thank you for watching this short video. Join us for our next video when we'll go through the steps on how to set up and create a PrintPal map.